Hello, this is Molly Reamer with 30 Days of Goddess in Bridget's Grove with this week's mini ritual, continuing to explore Earth Runes, the new deck that I'm creating this year with our Goddess Magic patrons on Patreon. And I'm also using a card from the Song of the Grandmother's deck and from the Rooted Woman Oracle deck. Both of these were thoughtful gifts from members of our Patreon community. Carmen and Taryn sent me those lovely decks, and I've really enjoyed using them this year. I'm also using our Story Goddess Oracle card with our Goddess of the Month, who is Ariadne, and a prayer card from 30 Days of Goddess to root us and center us into July. So starting with card 27 from Earth Runes, we are on the corners. This is the rune of security. You notice that I changed it because I had already made a rune of stability. This is an evolving project that's being created as I go, and so I'm feeling into it. The rune symbols themselves have existed for about 8 or 10 years, or probably 8 years in terms of when I created them originally with Mark, but they have not been explored any further than those jotted down little symbols and notes. And so this year is the year that I am exploring those and bringing them forward and into being. So this is the rune of security, a rune of foundations, trust, organization, stability, the 4 elements, the 4 directions, grounding, support, calling, the quarters, guidance, and structure. So how do you feel in terms of the stability and security in your own life? Do you feel grounded in, oh my goodness, I guess that's a frog, I think. Do you feel grounded and centered in the support beneath you? Do you feel like you have enough structure? So this could be perceived each way. Is there something that you need, do you have too much structure and you need to liberate yourself a little bit? Do you need to break the rules, break out, get away from the structure and find some freedom? Or do you crave more structure? Do you need more security? Do you need to reinforce your corners? Do you need to build something stronger? So anyway, lots to think about here. What do you trust? How is organization supporting or serving you? How is it possibly distracting or discouraging you from pursuing your dreams? I think this rune has a clear duality between possible meanings, kind of similar to the box in woman runes, where as a structure can confine and it can nurture, it can hold space for, and it can confine. So the corners can create stability and security and be a firm foundation, creating support and trust, or they might confine, constrict, and box in. So lots to think about with this one. I don't think in advance what I'm going to say about them. I let them speak and inspire me as I go in real time with these videos. So next we're going to go ahead and take a look at our support card from the Song of the Grandmother's deck, and we received Grandmother Weeping Willow, the card of release. And I'm actually just now noticing what a really beautiful complementary card this is to the corners, the rune of security, which is this one's about flexibility. So instead of structure, it's about flexibility. Bend, sway, swing, let loose. Anchored flexibility supports deliverance. So perhaps if we apply this to the corners, we can think if we are anchored in our strong foundation, if we are supported by our base, then we can be flexible when we're supported by a strong base. And so a little bit from the book. This deck is by Kara Simons, and so this is what she has to say. Duck inside the circle of Grandmother Weeping Willow's swinging leaves anytime to feel yourself enveloped in the restful hush of green, which I do feel like I have quite a restful hush of green around me in my, on my deck. The deck needs some repairs, as you can tell. Heat has been really rough on it in the 15 years or so that we've had this deck. I mean, actually maybe more like 20 years. But anyway, restful cocoon of green for sure, held in that embrace all summer long. She will always appear on your path, waiting in perfect time to deliver a masterful lesson on letting go. You are the only one who can release grief, sadness, frustration, disappointment, anger, or other heavy emotions that inevitably surface as you pursue growth. Instead of running away from your feelings or trying to bury them, Look for Grandmother Weeping Willow. Let her show you how to bend and sway in order to ease the channels of deliverance. I will say deliverance is not a word that I pretty much ever use, but so it's interesting to experience it here. Sometimes release involves revisiting or repeating some aspect of the underlying wound. If this rings true for you, consider that your current feelings may be powerful emotions resurfacing as they exit your body and spirit. You felt them coming in, and now you're feeling them going out. Removing a splinter may temporarily feel more painful, but wouldn't you rather see it go than drive it deeper inside? And so the message from Grandmother Willow: be flexible and gentle with yourself, honey. Plant your feet next to mine and loosen your limbs with me when the wind comes. If the tears fall, I will wipe them away with the kiss of my dancing leaves. I am always proud of you and here to support you, which is a nice little connection to our corners here. There's always support beneath your feet. You are always grounded in support as you flexibly sway. Okay, so then moving on to our Rooted Woman Oracle card. This deck is by Sharon Blackie, and we got the Selkie, the Soul Skin. This is a old story. It's definitely an early revisioned story that I heard in my own journey with goddess spirituality and feminist spirituality. So I don't even remember the first time I heard this story. I think it was probably at least 20 years ago, maybe longer. And so it's a powerful story and if you look at it through that kind of a feminist lens of like, how might you reclaim your soul skin? What has been taken from you? What has been stripped from you? And what are you reclaiming? And then take that on as like the power to reclaim and get your soul skin back instead of having it just taken away from you. So the Selkie story tells of the woman whose seal skin was stolen by the man who wanted to stay with him and be his wife. She was forced to remain in human form, and as a result, she's basically trapped on land, and she can't find a way to fully belong there. She loses her place in the world and consequently loses her story, her sense of who she really is, her authentic self. So in this interpretation, we have the Selkie represents yearning for a part of ourselves that we feel we've lost, or maybe a part we feel we might once have had but never really understand. So many of us lose our skins, and we lose them young. The consequences of the loss of this disconnectedness, this separation from our true nature and what nourishes and empowers us, often becomes apparent only after many years. I think this is why midlife is such a powerful journey point for so many people, is because you start to look around and realize, like, what have I lost? What have I given up? What have I let go of? And what do I want to reclaim? What do I want to reclaim? Like, where did I lose my skin? Where did I lose my skin? So you might ask yourself, where did I lose my skin? What am I hungering to reclaim? What can I reclaim? How can I reach out and reclaim? So this card encourages us to remember your lost skin, your unique sense of self, your unique creative power, to remember the pelt that once smelt so wonderfully of home and of yourself. How can you begin to grow a new skin, a skin that represents the heart of who you are now and allows you to accept and fully embody the wild one within? So how can you accept and fully embody the wild one within? How can you grow a new skin? So I think that's an important way of looking at things too. Okay, so our Ariadne card. So I've already read her poem in our last week's or another recent video, but I will go with the what's in the back. So I create these little packets for Goddess Magic community members in the Goddess Guidance Club every month, and then I make one that's aligned with the theme of the month, which is power, and then I put the reminder prayer card. So I put that packet together. Then I make another one that's with like intuitive draws from all my other materials that I have. And so I love both of them, and I use both of them as the month unfolds. So for this one, we have the word continue. So how might you continue? Or actually, I'm not going to ask a question. I'm going to say, may you continue to reclaim your soul skin, to embody the wild one within. May you continue to trust in the security and the support beneath you and around you. May you be flexible and strong. Okay, and then the affirmation, and it is, I claim my own power. I claim my own power. And then I made this new set of affirmation cards for everyone as well. These are actually going out to people in August. But anyway, I keep my promises to myself is our affirmation for the week. So you can say, I keep my promises to myself, or as a little blessing, may I continue to keep my promises to myself. May you continue to keep your promises to yourself. May you claim your own power and keep your promises to yourself. I claim my own power and keep my promises to myself. I think sometimes I need to remind people that if I say something as an affirmation or a blessing that uses the word you and you want to convert it to something I, or vice versa, like feel free to do that. So the words are beautiful playgrounds and you can experiment with what fits best for you. I find that I write sometimes in the first person, sometimes in the second person, sometimes in the third person, based on like what I feel, whether I'm receiving something or whether I'm offering something. But anything can be kind of converted to be one or the other based on what it is. So you can say, may you, or may I, or you can just affirm, I do this. And so we're going to close with one of our prayers from July. This is actually our Omen Days card that was for July. So these are created at the end of December and the beginning of January when I do the 12 Omen Days practice. And then this is what we are. So appropriately and perfectly really in July, the word that I came up with then was freedom. So freedom and power. And then here is our prayer. I am here at the door of change, here to keep my promises to myself. I liberate myself from fear and doubt and step into my power. I liberate myself from could and should and step into my authority. I liberate myself from expectation and obligation and step into my sovereignty. I liberate myself from shame and blame and step into trust. I keep it simple and sacred. I inhabit my own wholeness, fullness, and muchness. I am the site of my own liberation. I claim my life with joy. May you claim your life with joy. I'm only just now realizing how beautifully and perfectly that ties in to this reclaiming of your soul skin or growing a new skin. So may you have a powerful week full of liberation and trust. Thanks so much for being here. Keep living your magic. Bye-bye.